didn't. I didn't hear a word.
Okay. Dr. René, it was just another observation of what's going on at the front and the back of the animal. The pulling out of the tongue, the dismemberment of the tongue. It seems the one in the back with the tail wants to dismember the genitals of the animal. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All these things, you know, you have to remember 95% of Çatalhöyük has not been explored. So what we're going to find, and what we're going to find about the evolution of this, most of these pictures come from level 5, I think, which is still pretty early. You know, what happened to them 1,000 years later, we finally know, we should know. But if it continues at the present pace, which is a scientific pace, it's going to go on for 150 years. So none of us. And I think people are going to stay away from these pictures because of the romanticizing of the primitive in our world. You see, you can say all the ill you want of modern society, it's a good thing. But if you start talking about brutality and cruelty in the Neolithic, everybody leaves you. It doesn't interest anybody. It's not fashionable. Archaic man is good. We are fundamentally Rousseauistic. These pictures are incredibly anti-Rousseauistic. That's why they are limited. And I don't think they can be really popular today, interpreted correctly.
I have a question. I'd like to pick up on the question about Walter Burger. And I wonder if Burger is right that sacrifice originates in animal sacrifice, and then it may be then that it's also right in saying that the violence of animal sacrifice is really not so much a new violence that's created in order to quell a mimetic rivalry, but rather there's a certain violence upon which the society is built based on the hunting society. And then the ritualization of the violence is essentially then an attempt to constrain violence and place it within that context, which leaves kind of the harmony. Like I guess the leopards are all, the predators are all harmonious with each other in a sense, and that being kind of a model.
Sure, but leopards don't appear at all here. And there's a problem. On the other hand, you don't find leopard bones. And after a long, long search for years, Ian Hodder finally found a claw, or one of the people working for Ian Hodder, a leopard claw turned into some kind of ornament in a necklace. That's the only thing they could do. And there are 1,000 people working there, and they all, one of their orders was to watch for leopard bones, anything belonging to leopard. For years, they found one little ornament, which was part of a necklace, and which was, therefore leopards were excluded. That's why I tend to see the leopard religion as an earlier one, which is in conflict with this one, but the details cannot be worked out. But I don't think we are dealing with worlds which are in flux, which are dynamic, you see what I mean? So the idea of a single religion that would organize everything in a complete picture is not necessarily true. It's not necessarily false either. But my own tendency would see a leopard religion that would be more ancient than what's going on with the animals.
René, I would be loath to disagree with you on anything, but if we could go back to the artwork, Mary.
To which one?
The artwork. What I'm curious to know is, in the research that's been done here, Has anybody asked about the question of primitive technologies? The fellow that on the second character on it looks like he's holding a bowl with an outstretched arm, could certainly be an atlatl. And if you go to the other picture,
well, one thing about which we are very well informed is about the weapons of these people. And there was a commerce in the Middle East of obsidian. It came from the complete west of Turkey, and they bought it in Çatalhöyük. So in practically every house, not every house, there is a place under the ground where these objects were hidden, but they are about that long, you see, and they were very sharp, so they could cut the legs of the animal, but probably they couldn't go through the fur and attacking the animals in the back or couldn't do that.
I'm asking this because for the last 6 or so years, I've been engaged in learning how to flint knap obsidian arrowheads and knives, making bows and arrows, and all these kinds of primitive technologies. And what it looks to me like is that you really have a primitive hunt using long-distance atlatls. You have the fellow up there at the top. It looks like he's carrying spears. Oh, thank you. Okay. This fellow right there looks like he's got a spear. And then a number of the figures look like they're in throwing motions. And if you go to the other picture, again, I would be really loath to even contradict Bob because I'm just nervous because he's so much smarter than I am. But I wondered if that's not a kidney and a liver, if they're not filter organs. I mean, as a hunter, I mean, there are certain things you do when you hunt an animal. And I'm just wondering if sometimes we're not over-interpreting it.
These animals are not wounded to the point where one could be holding their kidneys. The animals, except for the legs here, I mean, at least the deer, the stag, is intact.
You have stressed the disproportionate scale of the animal, how amazingly big it is in comparison to the humans. Without, I think, really giving explanation, are you implying that the gigantic scale of the animal is linked to the typical scapegoat illusion, in which the scapegoat first looks so gigantically malicious and then so gigantically beneficial?
Yeah. Yeah, I did not understand. It is because